Hello everyone, and welcome to my shop. Alright folks, and welcome back to my shop. We're going to get back on the GMC again today. This will be part 2 of a new series I've started on redoing the interior. Part 1, I pulled the old seats out, and I've got 2 sets of seats that I'm going to try in here to see which one I like. In part 1, I put some tan light brown seats in there that I really like, but I'm going to try these other ones too. And in order to get them to fit right, I've got to pull some old mounts out. So stay tuned and we'll get to it. All right. I'm glad, thanks for all the comments. I'm really appreciating them, and I'm considering all of them. One of the comments I got was from a Sean. Sean, he questioned about the lid bit, the vent being bolted shut, and I answered him that it's not, and it's not. See, he opens. Now, he's really loose, so I'm going to have to address that. But I'm not really sure exactly what those bolts did or do. As you may tell, those are those rubber rivets, like you can that the manufacturers use nowadays to hold plastic body parts together. But they don't seem to be doing anything, and you know, they don't contact anything, they don't hold anything in. So I don't know the purpose of that. I'll show you on the Chevy that they do not have that, and I'm pretty sure that didn't come on the GMC unless there was some kind of rivet or something on there. So I really have no idea why. It's something aftermarket that's been added. But as you can see, the vent does open and close, and I open it when I do drive this thing. So anyway, hope that answers that for you, Sean. And Rebel 9668, thanks for the suggestion on trying to use some stripper. Now, I really considered that, and I'm probably not going to go that way because I'm afraid it'll bleed over and get into the finished paint here. And I'm having a hard time finding a match for this paint. I've tried several, rattle can that I thought were similar, and they're not. They're either darker or lighter or gloss, or I can't find. This seems to be a pearl type finish, and I just can't get the match. So I'm gonna try my best not to disturb it at this point, because repainting this truck is not in the immediate future of it. So anyway, Rebel, thanks for the suggestion, and just keep them coming. Ironclad Ranch, thanks for the suggestion on the windows. I'm still pondering on that. I don't know. This crack has not gotten worse in 6 years of running, and the weather strip here is bad. It can't be reused anyway. It's cracked down here. Matter of fact, this is where it's leaked over the years. But I'm still trying to decide whether or not I should use them new windshields over there on the GMC and just order some new ones for the Chevy when I go to do it. So that's still pondering. Keep those suggestions coming. That's a good one. Thanks. All right, even though I've got a lot of pondering I'm doing, there's a few definite things I've got to do. And I've got to get these seats out because those old seat mounts have got to go. So let's see if I can get these things out somewhat easily. I really like those seats, but I'm gonna put them in there too. But these have got to go. They're not gonna work, and so we'll go from there. Well, it looks like I gotta jack this blame thing back up again and get back underneath it. Let me tell you, boys and girls, when I grow up, and I get me a lift, and well, before I do that, I need to put another door in here. I need to raise the roof a good 4 feet, because you need, I don't know, 12, 13 feet, I guess. Once I get all that done, I'm going to have me a lift. So anyway. All right. So let's see what we got underneath here on them seats and see if I can get a socket right. It looks like one of the bolts right there. And all right. Well, due to all the tightness and everything in the stands, I guess I won't be able to show this, but you all know how this goes. I'll probably end up putting a pair of vice grips up top here to hold the nuts and put the socket on it down there at the bottom. You know, they've only got 3 anyway. So anyway, we're going to remove those. Alright, so there's a bolt there. You know, I thought they were 5/8, but I may be mistaken now. Where's that other bit? Right there. So let's see what we got. Have I said that I just hate working on my back? Huh? Have I shared that with you folks? Well, I'll be so good. It's 5/8 up top. Looks like a 3/4 maybe, or 11/16 down. There's a 5/8 there. That's a 9/6. No. All right. 11/16. That's what it is. That's one. Yeah. One down. There. That's definitely a store-bought brace. All right. It's pretty tall. All right. Well, we're going to go back under there and get that other one. What a pain. Huh. All right. With a little bit of help from my little friend and my other little friend and my other little friend, finally got them dudes out. All but one come out with the channel lock, with the vice grips and air ratchet routine. One decided he wasn't going to turn, so I had to grind him off, and it was hard getting into him. But and then I got to where I could only work certain angles because I didn't want to throw any sparks towards that bad boy. So anyway, success. Now here's the braces, or the seat braces, seat brackets, whatever you want to call them. They're pretty stout. I guess I'm going to put these up for sale or trade, and they'd be good for short seats, but not seats such as these OEM type. So now I've got some 3M racing seats sitting back there underneath some boxes that I'm going to set. Now they would work on this because they're only about this thick, the padding. Most uncomfortable seats I ever had, they were in that Carmen Gia I had that I pulled out. So anyway, I think I'm going to see what those blue-gray looks like in there now too. So anyway. All right, let's vacuum this turkey out a little bit. Alright, now it gives us better to work with. I'm going to come up with a way of plugging them holes. I've got a good idea. Now this was this is a factory hole here, and I believe that was for drainage. And because that's like the low spot in the whole floor. So I may leave him uncut. I may leave that open because I remember seeing that in the Chevy. But these other ones, I'm going to plug them some kind of way. I might weld them. I might get some kind of plugs at the hardware store. But anyway, now we got something to work with. All right, let's try these blue seats. Or gray. Not sure what color to call them. Actually, I got plenty of room for that console in there. I had a thought here. Well, we saw this out. Need to set in the front. While I play with it, I'll show you here in a minute. All right, what do you think? Let's look at the other side. They don't look bad. Don't look bad at all. They may sit too low. They may have worked with those other brackets. Huh. So. Let's see, I can be, well I can't, I have to custom make. If I were to use these, I'd have to custom make. I couldn't use those two pieces of wood going through there. Let's see what kind of height we got here. We got about 12 inches. So we're 12 inches, which I believe is about an inch shy of what the Chevy is stock. But that's all right. That's good. I mean, we can live with that. Console is 8.5 inches. So to get 8.5, yeah, you know, I could make it fit by these braces because I'd have to redo the braces. And you know, if these were the only seats I had, I would definitely go with them. And they would work with the black interior, actually. I would just paint these cards similar to match them with these oversized bolts. But, you know, I don't know what you all think, so I'll solicit your opinion, but I like those light brown ones better. Now, I did some more checking. I traded, my brother traded for these. He was wanting to put them in his, in a Toyota pickup he had that got totaled. But these seats are out of a Honda. I'm not sure what model Honda. I'm going to guess a car because they're pretty small. And those other seats there are out of a Toyota. So, and it looks like if I can come up with a way to patch that hole, I believe I am going with the brown, although these would probably be lesser work. I don't know. What do you think? Of course, I done got it in my mind, but they're not bad. You know, I'm going to see if that'll hold me. I'm going to sit in it and see how it sits. Hopefully it'll hold. We'll see. Let's get it up here a little bit. All right. I might fall on my butt. Well, you're definitely lower than what it was. Maybe too low. Feel like Cheech and Chong. Yeah, I believe these would be. I'd have to build them up more higher. That's amazing. I'm gonna remeasure that. I can't believe an inch is this big a difference. So, oh, they're just so much more comfortable than them things that was in here. I don't know. Too low. It'd have to be raised up an inch or so. And that, I mean, I can do that with braces and brackets. But anyway, a lot of clearance. I'm gonna have to go sit in the Chevy now and see how it feels, but I'm pretty sure I sit a whole lot higher than this. Anyway, see if I can get out without busting my butt. There. All right. All right, we've manhandled the light brown ones back in, and yeah, they win. They're the winners. I just need to figure out how to fix that hole. Now, I've got to raise the seats in the back. I'm using a 2x4 right now because to get them to go back enough. Without the 2x4, the way the brace, the original manufacturer seat brace here, the way it slopes down, it puts it too low in the back, and I can't get it all the way back close to the gas tank. Now, this does raise it about an inch higher than the stock Chevy, so I'm going to attempt to sit on it and see how it feels. And maybe it won't bust my butt. What does my man Curly say? It's perfect, it's perfect. This will work. I mean, I could wear a cowboy hat, but you know, I only wear a cowboy hat on my tractor anyway, just to keep the sun off my red neck. So, man, this is good. Oh, my drink holder, that's right. Oh, it's right there. Right there. They win. These are the winners. So, now I had a suggestion and about maybe sacrificing the headrests for the material to patch that hole. I'm considering that. But oh yeah, this is so much better. I'm gonna have a gap here. I'm gonna have to come up with something on that. But then again, there was a tall gap there anyway, wasn't it? Okay. Now this really needs to be a little bit higher for this. We'll have to the passenger side seat will have to slide forward more in order for the armrest to flip up. But this is not going to ever be a 3-seater. It's always going to be a 2-seater. So this will stay down the whole time, and that just lines up just right. Very good. Steering's at a good level. I believe this will do. Now I got to figure out a way to mount them. I also need to figure out how to get out of here without busting my butt. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There you go. All right. They win. The interior, I settled on it, and see what y'all think. I am going to go with the that hammered brown, which is real close to the stock color that that came in the GMC and Chevrolet when they were new. And that's exactly what I painted in the interior of the Chevy. And I'm thinking the cards here on the below the windows, those cards, to paint them a light brown to match the seat. And I think that may do. And the rest of the cab will go to that hammered brown. So anyway, see what y'all, if y'all agree, disagree, I don't know, but I'm thinking that. And you know, there's not too bad right there. Let's get a close-up look at that, because that's the gap. And I'll have to come up with a way to do this 2x4 to block up away, but I got a pretty good gap here. And then you got this here. See, I can go with something. See, that'll work. Bolt into a 2x4 going here and painted brown or black. Well, it's going to be brown because this will be brown too. So, anyway, I think we're going to do it. I think we've got a plan. You got to have a plan of attack before you attack. And now, again, if all I had were them blues, I would definitely go with them. But since I got these and they look so much better in there, I'm going with them. And they're a bigger, more comfortable seat. Before I get them installed, I may address a few other things. Of course, I'm going to sand and repaint the interior, and I don't know if I see if I can find some shoulder harnesses to fit this. If not, I guess I can order, but I got to make sure that the clasps will fit in these here. So anyway, we're getting there. I didn't reach down there for the shifter. That shifter's too low no matter what. So anyway, that's where we're at. All right, I'm making a bracket, and I think I'm going to make the rear out of the 2x4 for now. I thought about getting some 1.5 square tubing, but I believe this will be all right, and it won't be seen. And you see, here's my brace there, so it's going to actually set on the existing bracing in the cab, and then I've got this angle iron here that I'll bolt it down to, and then the seat. The rear seat mount actually will drill there, which comes through all that. So I believe that'll do for now. And on the front, I can show you, but I'm going to actually, the existing brackets that's on it, I'm going to drill straight through here and bolt it straight to the front of that. So I think that'll be a good steady connection, and I'll paint that to match it, and nobody will know the difference. Alright, I've decided I don't like the looks of those 2x4s like that. So I'm going to come up with another method. And I think what I want to do is I want to get me a piece of plywood and actually put a cover over top the existing pedestal. Of course, it's going to stay, and then work off it for my bracing for the seats to get the brackets. So I'm kind of where I want to be. Let's get a measurement now, what we got. Say 54.5 inches. Okay. 54.5. We're looking at, let's say 22.5. Alright. 22.5. That gives a little wiggle room. 22.5. Okay. Alright. That gives me some measurements. Now I can pull these out and get to work on putting getting a piece of plywood cut in down there. I don't like that. I don't like the 2x4s. Even if I were to make metal brackets for it, it would still have that big gap there, and that's just, you know, I'd have to go through all kinds of hoops to cover that up. So yeah, it'll just barely close. All right, that's the plan now. Plan B. All right, let's go dig out a piece of plywood I got stashed back here. Marilyn Monroe poster. I think I would prefer 3/4 inch, but I've had this piece for so long, I don't care to cut it and make it a template maybe and try it. See what that looks like before I go out and buy a $30 piece of plywood. So anyway, let's put some measurements on it and see what we get. All right. I need to get some stabilizers for my cheap little table one of these days. Of course, you know when that's going to be. All right. Let's see what we got. All right. Goes out further than I want. I have to custom trim it up a little bit more, but I think I don't need to go with a bigger piece of plywood. I think it'll hold. I may put a brace in the middle, and I may cut a couple access holes directly under the seat so I can reach under and tighten the bolts up to the seat. Okay, I want it even at this side. Of course, it starts bending in. So here at the corners, how far I want to go that way. All right. Probably move out a little bit more. There's probably an inch or better between this front edge and the metal frame, so I'll have to cut that off. And that doesn't look too bad as far as covering that gap. So I guess what I'm going to need to do, of course, I'm going to need to cut it back some more. And look how the seat frame bends in there in the middle. So it's not exactly straight. So I'll do measurements on the corner, but I'm going to cut it back there. And I want it to just barely be clearance there. I don't want it touching that. So it's right up on the edge. All right, fine tuning, but I think I'm going to like that much better. Well, all right, I've now got my plan set. I didn't like those 2x4s at all down there. And I like this piece of plywood down here. Now look at the gap. There's not that much of a gap. And it's basically, when if you look here, there's a little post right there. Now I've got to drill a hole so that post will sit down. So it'll sit down about another inch. Then I'm going to put an angle iron I'm securing to the metal pedestal. That'll get this bracket. And of course I'm going to put a longer piece of angle iron to secure the plywood to this. So that'll take care of it. The only problem is, if we can look under there, I may not be able to get a bolt to that one back there. That being the case, what I may do is just put a stud up and just keep it from moving around, and depend upon the this one and the 2 front ones, to keep it steady. So anyway, got plenty of gap right here. Got a little gap in between the seats, and if something falls down in there, it's going to hit something solid. So anyway, that takes care of the driver's side. And the passenger side, it's going to end up being the same way. And, you know, the only gap will be, you know, they'll drop down another inch there in the front. The only gap will be right here, which is good. So this will all be painted the same brown. I think I'll do the floor too and get rid of this thing. Yeah. And, okay. So we've got us a plan. I'm going to do some markings and drill, so I make sure all the holes line up. And once that's done, I'll be taking this out and getting the sanding and getting this a decent paint color. So anyway, all right. Looks like I got a plan to move forward with. This 1/2 inch plywood is it's stout enough. I don't need to worry about going with a 3/4, nor do I need to worry about putting the center support brace. We'll have to cut a couple access holes directly underneath the seats to so I can bolt the plywood up to the pedestal. But by going this way, I'm keeping the truck to where if I or a future owner decided to go back with the stock bench seat, well, it would do it, and because the pedestal is going to remain, and that plywood covers it good once it's all painted the same color. I think it'll be all right. So anyway, it's the seats feel real good and comfortable. I'm sitting probably about the same height that the stock seat sits. I measured it, it's within about a 1/2 inch, so that's good. And actually these are a lot more comfortable. And I've got a console here with cup holders, so that's good too. So anyway, I think that'll bring this segment to a close, as we got a good plan. The next, what I'm going to do next is, of course, these seats are going to come out again. Now, they've been in and out probably 5 times now, but I'm going to pull them out again, pull the plywood out, and start sanding. Then I'm going to cut access holes in the plywood and mount it permanently to the pedestal here, the stock pedestal, and do some painting. So the seats are fitted. Well, the seats that I'm going to use, I've determined to go with the light brown. They're fitted. We've got a good plan to get them secured in here well. So we're going to move on with getting this interior rehab. So, and we'll do that in some future episodes. So, if you like watching this old fella work on two old trucks, well, just give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, which both of those will help me out with YouTube and won't cost you a thing. And if you hit that little bell thing, if you're watching on a PC or a smartphone, it'll give you a notification when the next one hits, which is generally on Fridays. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope the rest of your week's good, and we'll see you around.